But we get so caught up in the day-to-day sometimes that we're like, oh my gosh, like I'm not where I want to be. This is difficult. This is hard. There's all these problems to solve. But it's like you're working towards your dream life, man. Like it's cool. I want you guys to think about for a minute, what do you want? Right? We talked about it a little bit, but like for real, like if you snap your fingers, wave a wand, and I'm like, I'm going to be able to have this dream life, this amazing life. Like that's what we're doing this for. Maybe it's the people around you. Maybe it's the people at home. Maybe it's yourself. Maybe you're tired of being around the wrong people. Maybe you just want to be a better person, right? Well, if I'm a mirror and I know that if I can influence you and you can influence me, well, then I got to bring a smile and a good attitude every single day, because when I'm having a bad day, then I'm going to lean on you and you're going to lean on me when you're having a bad day. So today when I have the opportunity and there's nothing going wrong, well, it's my job to bring some energy and I got to show up and be a good person, right? And so we have to make that decision today so then we can get it tomorrow. I love this, idea of like compounding, right? Because the more that you do in one area, the more things grow, the more that you're going to get back, the better you get, the smarter you get. It's all time under the bar, right? It's simple. This business is super, super rewarding when you're willing to do the things that those essential tasks that are going to reward you, right? So if I'm distracted, if I'm running around doing a million different things, if I'm thinking that I'm working, but I'm really not working, if I'm asking questions all day and I'm not making calls and I'm watching other people be successful and I'm not able to close business, but I'm making excuses and all this stuff, like I'm not doing anything to help my business grow, right? So I'm asking you guys to ask yourselves, like, am I wasting time? Or am I really working, right? Am I doing those tasks that need to be done? Or am I kind of just like avoiding it and like acting as if I was, and it's really not getting done? Because it's black or white, man. There's no gray area. It is happening or it is not happening. And you get to make that decision on whether or not you do that. And it's in your control. And when it's difficult, and when it's tough, when you don't feel like doing it, just know that you probably would still show up for someone else at someone else's job, where you work for someone else, if you had to be there. So do it for you. Like it isn't about freaking, you worked for some corporate company anymore and you have to show up or you get fired. Like we would all show up so we didn't get fired. I got to get my butt in gear. I got to get over there and get to work. No, man, this is for you now. Like you're building your life. So take some ownership over it. And if you don't, like you will not get the results. So for your best interest, let's make sure that we're doing that, right? Andy calls it heaven on earth. And it's a cool thing. We get to help people and we get to make a lot of money to be able to do it. We're in a unique space. The insurance industry, like I said, the longer you spend in the business, the more that you're going to make. And just from time under the bar of doing simple activities, if I was to recruit one person a day and I sold one policy a day and it took me 4 hours a day, and I just like went to the beach or the pool or whatever the rest of the day, every day for 12 months. In 12 months, I'd be in a pretty good spot. I have a lot of recurring revenue by the time next year came. And I would have a lot of agents working with me. And if it's that simple, why don't we just execute on it, right? But we like to confuse ourselves and make things difficult, and it becomes tough. And we tell ourselves stories because it's new and it's different. And instead of it just being the normal routine that I'm in, it's this new routine and it's uncomfortable. And I gotta show up differently and I gotta bring a different energy and I gotta solve different problems. But if you can do it for a year, it's super normal and it's not tough. And it's just what you do. It is your normal job. It is what you were doing previously in that routine. So I challenge you guys to try to make a decision to think farther out, right? It's going to change your life to think 12 months from now instead of 3 weeks from now, right? Like there's all these kids on social media, and there's a stat that I heard that's like 54% or 52% of high school seniors think that they're going to be millionaires by the time they're like 25. It's like, it's probably not going to happen, right? And I love the confidence, but like most people are that drawing that we did where they get all excited about something, they get all pumped up, And then they're like, not as easy as I thought it was. And then they go back and they try something else, right? And then they get all excited about something, they get all pumped up. When, Napoleon Hill likes to say, or he said that from studying all the successful people that he studied and all these people that were the richest people in America in the 1900s and the 1800s, and the people that had built the biggest legacies and changed the most lives and done the biggest things, the one thing that they had the most in common is that they all had the ability to overcome obstacles, challenges, and defeat. And their success was directly correlated with the amount of challenges and obstacles and defeat that they had overcome. Like, isn't that crazy? So if we know that's the direction to be able to get to where we want to go, and when challenges come, just know, well, winners live where losers quit. Winners outlast the losers just a little bit longer. And so when most people are like, I'm out, I'm gonna quit, I was like, you know what? I'm staying here. I'm in. I'm not leaving. I'm gonna keep on doing this, right? And now I've been able to have different results because I just stuck it out. I've just kept on the mission. Nothing changed. And so for you guys, when things get tough, when you might have, an agent that quits on you that you invest a lot of time into, if you have someone that you might have a client that doesn't want their policy anymore. If you have someone where they come in and they're talking smack, like, dude, it's cool, man. Like, it's all a part of the journey. It's all a part of the game. And once you can step over that, well, then you get to solve the next day's problems. And that is so temporary, right? All that stuff is one day. There's 365 of them in a year. And we're going to be here for a couple of years, right? I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm just, hopefully you guys are here for a couple of years. But it's like, that's one day, man. Like, that's not that long. It's like, let's think bigger. I always say, Selena works upstairs and she's a badass coach for Andy in the Elliott group. She's my girlfriend, if you guys don't know her. And sometimes she's like, I have a lot going on. Like, I'm not, executing the way that Andy wants me to execute at the level. Like, he wants me to be doing this. And like, I'm only here. And like, I'm like, zoom out. Like, everything's tracked on a month by month basis. It's the 3rd of the month. And you got 27 more days to make it happen. Right? But we get so caught up in the day-to-day sometimes that we're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not where I want to be. This is difficult. This is hard. There's always problems to solve. But it's like, you're working towards your dream life, man. Like, it's cool. And when you got the right habits, when you're putting your attention on the right things, when you're investing in yourself the right way, there's all these compounded things that start happening where instead of my success mechanism in my brain saying, well, this is difficult and hard and I hate this, it starts to go, man, how are we going to solve this? This is what I need to know to be able to get to where I want to go, right? And then you get more skilled. And then when your agent's going through it and Trey's like, man, Ty, I'm having a bad day. This is happening. I'm trying to learn this. I don't know how to sell this policy and this product. Like, what is it? And I'm like, dude, I went through the same thing, bro. Like, this is exactly how we're going to handle it because I've done it. And that's the beauty of when you get through the difficult. The reason that Andy has and Brad, have events and they have mentorship programs and they have people paying them a ton of money to spend time around them is because they've been through the tough. And when people get hit with the tough, a lot of times they quit. But they need someone to help them get through that. They need someone to push them through that, right? And people are like, well, they've done it, so I'm going to give them a bunch of money to help me do it because I need help getting through it. And so if you can get through the tough, and here you don't have to pay for it because we're all here helping each other and we're all doing it together. But once you get through the tough, that tough, and now it's normal to you, right? I said it earlier that like there's a lot of things that are just like for me, I'm like, well, of course you do that. Like this is exactly what you do. You have to buy leads. This is how many phone calls you got to make. You're going to get told no. Like it's just normal for me. And for Brad and Andy, because they've been in business so long, all that stuff is normal for them. So once it becomes normal, the problem solving, the difficulty, the challenges, they're not challenges anymore, man. You walk in and you're like, people hit me with that objection. Bang, I totally understand that. Well, since it's not a matter of whether or not we're going to get one of them, we'll go ahead and get the lowest option put in place because we need at least something, right? Go ahead and verify the spelling of your first and last name for me. And they're like, I guess that makes sense. All right, we'll get the lowest one. And you're like, whoa. Now when people say they need to think about it, they're not just going to think about it and I don't hear from them again. Now I'm actually helping them get the policy right then and there. And you're like, okay, this makes a little bit more sense, And then boom, I need to talk to my wife. And then I learn how to say this. And then boom, I'm in the car right now. And then boom, I learn how to say this. And then I'm figuring out all these different ways to help people get policies. And I'm able to start getting more out of the opportunity. But I didn't quit just because people said they didn't think about it. I didn't quit just because people are telling me they're busy. So I think it's really important that we think about that long term. We think about that, the perspective of where we're headed, where we're going with it all.
Man, if this is the video that helped you out today, I'm gonna place a couple other of my videos right here for you guys to watch. It's exactly what you're gonna need to see following today's video, guys. See you in the next one.